Hi, my name is Maryann Berry. I am a posture alignment specialist, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips for improving posture when working from home. Now, when it comes to working from home, I am a pro. I've been working from home, not even in recent circumstances, but for years. And it comes with some challenges. So chances are we're in the same boat. We're working through this together. Today I wanted to share these tips with you because they've definitely made a difference for me, and I think that they will hopefully make a difference for you as well. When it comes to these 5 tips for improving posture, first I want to keep in mind the whole situation at hand. Chances are, if you've gone from working in your office to working from home, you probably feel like the situation is restrictive. You're not at work, you don't have your normal setup with your monitors and your office space that you normally have. And chances are you're working from a laptop, you feel cramped, maybe you're crouched on a couch or you're stuck in a bedroom because your significant other is working in the living room, or whatever the situation might be. So we're going to take a look at that, and just to cover really quick what we're not going to talk about in this video and what we are going to talk about in this video. So what we're not going to cover is we're not going to cover how to set up your computer workstation. We're not going to cover how to sit properly, and we're also not going to cover any special gadgets, mouses, keypads, any special chairs or pieces of equipment. We're not going to cover any of those things. In my opinion, there's a plethora of information that you can find on the internet about those things, and to be honest, in my personal opinion, coming from the world of being a posture alignment specialist, what matters most is addressing ultimately the body that we're bringing to the workstation, and that's really fundamentally what's going to make the biggest difference when it comes to reducing aches and pains, preventing pain and problems, and just really keeping your body moving and healthy. So these 5 tips are really going to be geared towards that, towards the body and addressing the body that we're bringing to the workstation. That being said, let's get started, and just to let you know, at the very end of this video, I am going to be sharing with you 3 of my most favorite exercises for improving posture that you can easily do at home without any specialized equipment. So be sure to stay tuned at the very end when I'm going to share with you what those 3 exercises are, and I'm going to be including the links to those exercises down in the comments below, or down in the notes. Tip number 1 is change positions often. So when it comes to the way that we work at our computer station, maybe you've heard that it's important to go from the seated position to standing, and that's awesome if you've made that shift to standing at your computer, but the truth is, what really matters most, and ultimately what's really hurting us the most, isn't the seated position per se, it's lack of movement that is the most harmful. So when it comes to the way that you work, the way that you set up your work life at home, what matters most is that you're changing positions often. So I'm just going to share some examples of how that could look. So you could spend a little bit of time working in the seated position, and then you can stand and work, and then maybe you can get on the floor and kneel and work at your computer. You could work laying down on your belly, you can lay on your stomach, and then you can get it up and you can sit on maybe a different chair. So this is just to give you some ideas to get those creative juices flowing. Ultimately, what matters most is that you're changing positions, and ultimately, in a perfect world, I recommend that you change positions every 30 minutes if you can, but if your workflow just doesn't allow for that, try to change positions, change your work position at least once an hour if you can. Tip number 2, find ways to break up your movement patterns. When we move one part of our body repetitively over time, that causes our body to become imbalanced, and this can actually lead to pain and problems over time. So one simple thing that we can do is pinpoint those times when we are repetitively moving one part of the body more than the other, and then change that up. So here are just some really simple examples of how you can do that. You can change the height of the chair that you sit on. You move your computer closer to you, move your computer farther away from you. And then here's a really, really big one. Change the arm that you use to operate your mouse and become ambidextrous with your mouse. Just to let you know, I did take that on myself personally today. I am mouse ambidextrous. I'm very proud of it, and I do recommend that you take that on. If you do take on that challenge, post in the comments below and let me know how that goes for you. So those are just some ideas of how you can break up those movement patterns. Tip number 3 is to get outside and to look at objects of varying distances. So this tip is really all about essentially giving our eye muscles a workout. when we're working from home or working from our laptop or our computer, if you think about it, your eye muscles are constantly focused on something that's approximately 12 to 18 inches away from your face. So by getting outside and just simply looking at trees and buildings, now granted, be safe. If you're out for a walk, look at where you're going. But allow your eye muscles or allow your eyes to focus on different objects that are farther away, closer, even getting into different lighting. All these things can really make a difference when it comes to letting those eye muscles get a workout. Tip number 4 is to go barefoot as often as possible. Now, I'll tell you why I like this tip so much, because it doesn't take any additional time. It just means that you're going barefoot throughout your house. And the reason why this is important is because when we wear shoes, even though we might not think about it or realize that our feet become restricted, our toes become squished, and the muscles of our feet essentially don't do their job. So by simply removing our shoes, we can actually help, I guess you could call it the posture of your feet, and you can let your foot muscles get a workout. And the other important thing to note about this part about taking off your shoes is that when your feet aren't functioning, essentially the rest of your body unfortunately suffers or pays the price. So that is another tip for when you're working from home. Just simply remove your shoes and give those feet or foot muscles a workout. And finally, tip number 5 is to do exercises to rebalance your body versus just focusing on fixing certain areas that are problematic, such as focusing on fixing carpal tunnel or focusing on fixing the shoulders and getting the shoulders back. Now, I'm not saying to not focus on those areas. However, what I am saying is that when we spend a lot of time sitting, not moving, working at our computers, when we're working from home, there's parts of our bodies that just simply are getting neglected and that are not getting work that we might not think about that are problematic. Maybe we don't think that certain areas are contributing to areas where we do have problems. So just to give you an idea what some of those body parts are that become neglected and that essentially don't get worked, a couple of key areas specifically are the feet, and you're probably noticing a pattern now. I've talked about the feet several times in this video. And another key area would be essentially the primary muscles of the hips and the thighs. So that leads me into my next point or tip, which is actually included here in tip number 5, which is the 3 exercises that I recommend that you can do at your house that will help you to stay active and stay moving and to kind of work and address these key areas, the hips and the feet. And the exercises are, and I'll kind of share a little bit about what each of these exercises are going to do for you, and I'm going to post the links to videos, instructional videos to these exercises in the comments. So first exercise is something called sitting heel raises with pillow. This is just a really simple exercise that you can do with a pillow right between your knees. Essentially, as the name implies, you're lifting and lowering your heels. In the link that I'm going to post to the video, be sure to check that out because I'm going to give you some key tips for how to really get your hip muscles engaged as you're doing this exercise so you can get the most benefit. It actually helps to help the upper body relax because of how well it activates the hips and the lower legs. So sitting heel raises with pillow is a great one. Another good one is 3 position toe raises. This is something that's done in the standing position that essentially works the muscles of the feet, and the reason why I like this exercise so much is it really helps to promote a more upright body position, which is so important, something that we all need. And then the third exercise is Airbench. This is a key strengthening exercise for the hips and legs that really packs a punch. And this is a cool one because you can start off at maybe 15 or 30 seconds based on your ability level and then work up to doing it for more time. So there you have it. Those are my 5 tips to improve posture when working from home. I do hope that this was useful and beneficial for you. If you do implement any of these tips, I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know by posting to the comments what you do implement and how it goes. And if you're interested in learning more things like this, if you're interested in learning more exercise and movement tips and ways to improve your posture, please subscribe to my channel because there's more content to come in the future. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.